several new concessions have been announced by the government to pacify protesters upset with the new Agniveers military recruitment scheme, who have unleashed massive violence across the country. As protests against the centre's Agnipath scheme were reported from 8 states across India on Saturday, the Ministry of Defence and the Ministry of Home Affairs stepped up and announced that they will absorb the Agniveers post-retirement. Remember, that's the big worry, that after 4 years, will they find jobs? That's not all. Union Minister Agnipath has said that the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports is also considering ways to absorb them. The Civil Aviation Minister, the Ministries of Ports and Shipping and also Waterways announced opportunities as well. The government hopes to quell anger of the protesters with these new guarantees. Already, Prime Minister Narendra Modi-led BJP government at the centre had announced a quota and age relaxation in central ministries for those who opt for the new Agnipath military recruitment scheme. The new recruitment policy proposes hiring of personnel for a 4-year period in the armed forces, followed by mandatory retirement for at least 75% of them without any pension benefits. And since the announcement, there has been anger and protest in at least 8 states. Now, over 350 trains were cancelled across India due to the violence over the Army's Agnipath recruitment scheme. With Bihar being the worst hit state by protests, train services have been stopped between 4 a.m. and 8 p.m. Angry barbs were also exchanged between alliance partners BJP and JDU over the offices of BJP members being targeted in the violence, while Congress has hit out over the scheme and pointed out how the centre has been forced to make amendments already.
Incidents of violence around railway stations, police vehicles torched and several policemen injured in stone pelting in Bihar, as protesters tried to enforce a band calling for a rollback of the Army's new recruitment scheme, Agnipath. After several train coaches and engines were burnt over the last 3 days, train services have now been partially stopped in Bihar, with no trains to run between 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. Stranded passengers were upset after trains did not run during the day and around 5,000 trains were cancelled.
कहाँ जाना चाह रहे थे?
हमको आरा जाना है।
आरा तो ट्रेन है कि नहीं, कैंसिल है?
ट्रेन बहुत सारी कैंसिल हो गई है, परेशानी हो रहा है। दिल्ली से आ रहे हैं।
दिल्ली से आ रहे हैं और यहाँ पर ट्रेन चेंज करके आपको जाना था?
जी, कल दिल्ली से मगध एक्सप्रेस में टिकट था तो वो तो कैंसिल हो गई। हम लोग कैसे कैसे बनारस एक्सप्रेस आती है तो वहाँ से बनारस मडुआ ही है। यहाँ पता करने आए कि मतलब जाएगी कि नहीं श्रमजीवी एक्सप्रेस, यहाँ से भी कैंसिल हो सकती है। ऐसे 11 घंटा लेट है।
Bihar's Director General of Police arrived at the Patna station to inspect the damage, but when asked about a police failure to control the violence, this was his answer.
बिहार पुलिस के ऊपर आ रहा है कि बिहार पुलिस ने टाइमली एक्शन क्यों नहीं लिया? देश को इतनी संपत्ति का नुकसान हुआ।
अरे आपका परसेप्शन है, रखिए अपना परसेप्शन अपने पास।
After attacks on the BJP's offices as well as residences of the Deputy Chief Minister, the Bihar BJP President, an ugly political game began, with the BJP state chief sending out a stern warning.
विरोध करने में कोई बुराई नहीं है, हम सब अलग अलग दल के हैं, लेकिन इस तरह से प्रशासन के द्वारा व्यक्तियों को टारगेट करना, प्रशासन के द्वारा एक खास पार्टी के दफ्तरों को जलाने करना, और 300 मधेपुरा में जो हुआ है 300 पुलिस दर्शक बन करके बैठी हुई है, क्या पुलिस पे कार्रवाई हो रही है?
However, the JDU's national president was quick to hit back at their alliance partner.
प्रशासन पर आरोप लगा रहे हैं। अरे प्रशासन क्या करेगा? प्रशासन को कहां से क्या मतलब है भारतीय जनता पार्टी से और जनता दल यू से? लेकिन आपके जो आक्रोश से, जो छात्रों नौजवानों के आक्रोश के कारण जो आपका संतुलन, थोड़ा अपने को संतुलित करिए। जो संतुलन बिगड़ा है उस संतुलन का प्रभाव है कि आप अनर्गल आरोप प्रशासन पर लगा रहे हैं।
Other opposition parties like the Congress too continue to corner the government over the Agnipath scheme.
25% लोगों को, साहब 25% नहीं, अप टू 25%, ध्यान रखिएगा, ये है सेल्समैन मेगा बम्पर ऑफर की मानसिकता। अप टू 25% क्या होता है? मतलब 25% की भी गारंटी नहीं है। ये मत समझिए आप कि उसमें से एक को दे ही देंगे नौकरी। बहुत चालाकी से टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन लिख दिया है।
On the other hand, the centre today came up with its new offer to quell the protest by announcing a quota in Defence Ministry jobs. The Defence Minister tweeted saying a 10% reservation will be implemented in the Indian Coast Guard and Defence civilian posts and all the 16 Defence public sector undertakings. This reservation would be in addition to existing reservations for ex-servicemen. With Manish Kumar in Bihar and Suketi Dwivedi, this is Sarah Jacob, NDTV.